At the spa hotel. I accidentally sent the swimsuit photo to archenemy Jake. The opposite side returned in seconds. Play abstract? I don't want to be too humorous. Flat-chested. Wearing what bikini? I was completely unaware of this. And went to the hot springs in a beautiful way. After coming back to see dozens of cell phone messages and missed calls. Scalp a burst of numbness. I'm not going to be able to get a good look at you. But I'm going to be able to get a good look at you. Are you going to die? I've already found out which hotel it is. An hour and a half later to arrive. You wait for punctual death. Before I could explain. Jake's voice came from outside the door. Open the door. Before I finished reading the message from Jake on my cell phone. He was already at the door. I opened the door with a black line on my face. He was dusty and scanned me up and down warily. I was wearing a bathrobe and he was carrying a baseball bat. I sent that picture to the wrong person. What's wrong with you? Before the words were out of my mouth, Jake had rushed into the room. He searched inside and out. Even the trash can. What are you looking for? Looking for that asshole. Jake was furious. Don't tell me you came to the spa alone and wore so little fabric. I rolled my eyes. Who comes to a hot spring alone? I rolled my eyes. Who's alone in a hot spring? That's not it. You were single last week. And the man who brought you to the spa just a week after you met him can be a good person. The search was fruitless. Jake carried a baseball bat and asked me, "Where is that asshole hiding?" I pointed to the next door. He raised his foot and was about to rush out. I said lazily, "I'm here with my parents. They live next door." The baseball bat was thrown into the trash by Jake. He sat down on the couch. Why didn't you tell me you were coming with your aunt and uncle? Should I go next door and say hi? It's not a good idea to go empty-handed. Is it? I rolled my eyes. Didn't you bring a baseball bat? It's the middle of the night. My parents are asleep. Jake's mom and my mom are besties. So Jake and I were supposed to be besties too. Unfortunately, Jake and I were so bad that we were at each other's throats when we were babies. There's a sense of being enemies from a past life. As it is, I did nothing more than send him a picture by mistake. This man can drive over 200 kilometers to kill me. My beautiful spa night was ruined by him. Look. I'm still a bachelor without a man. Are you relieved? Can I go now? I guess he can't let me fall in love because he's a lifelong single. Since I was a kid, I've received love letters from other people. And he tore up one of them. The love that has not yet had time to germinate has all been strangled by Jake. Confirming that I didn't secretly fall in love behind his back. This nerve looked in a very good mood. Come to think of it. Whose dog could love you with your foul temper? I whacked him hard twice and he still looked playful. But there's no room available now. If I drive another 2.5 hours back, I'm afraid he'll die on the road from driving fatigue. None of my business. It's fine for you to die outside. The most poisonous woman in the world. Okay. I'll just go. Jake retrieved the baseball bat from the trash can. If I die, I'll become a ghost and stand at your bedside every day. Seeing that this person's tired face doesn't look like a fake. Dragging the baseball bat towards the door. My heart is soft. Hey. Forget it. Jake immediately a sharp break in place. That. You sleep. On the couch. As it turns out. One really can't afford to be soft. Especially with the enemy. Are you asleep? Are you asleep? Really sleep? Jake sleeps on the couch and asks me on average every 2 minutes. I closed my eyes and pretended to be asleep. Ignoring him. You didn't fall asleep. Did you? Not even grinding your teeth. Are you pretending to be asleep? I couldn't take it anymore. And I let out an ow. What's wrong with you? Who said I grind my teeth in my sleep? Jake looked like I knew it and laughed a couple of times with a smug ha-ha. When you slept with me when you were little, you used to grind your teeth like you were a cannibal. It was especially scary. Big brother. Can you stop bringing up the 3-year-old thing? I'm sleepy. Let's go to bed. I can't sleep. This sofa is too short. I can't stretch my legs straight. I don't care about him. I rolled over and went back to sleep. Jake spoke up again. Hey. I forgot to ask you. Who were you going to send the bathing suit photos to? It's just a little bit of fabric. It can't cover anything. You went to the swimming pool with me last summer and wore more than New Year's Eve. I rolled my eyes several times with my eyes closed and scolded fiercely. Mind your own business. I've watched you grow up. Why can't I mind your own business? The voice was so close to my ears that I was startled. When I opened my eyes, a topless Jake stood at the foot of my bed, wrapped in a quilt. You're going to die. I bounced off the bed. What are you doing so close all of a sudden? He pressed me with a cold face. So tell me, who did you send it to? To Luna. Okay? Luna is my best friend. Jake knows her. He threw on the covers and fell to the floor next to my bed, saying, Luna. You should have said so. I was so sleepy from the noise he made. But this guy was fine. Lying on all fours on the floor with his eyelids closed. Hey. Do I really look bad in that? Well. It doesn't look good. Well. Since you don't think it looks good, then Senior will even less think it looks good. Jake, who was already lying flat, got up again with a carp. Where's the head of the school's chicken hair? What are you going to wear that for? Say that again. I knew he'd be furious. Jake is more anxious than anyone else when there's a chance that I'm getting off. Seeing him get upset made me feel better. I turned my back and left a light sentence. Going to the beach with Senpai-o. Good night vibe killer. Jake was so pissed off at me. I could hear him breathing heavily. It's that four eyes thing you have in the student union. Isn't it? The wire-rimmed glasses. I remember him. He's not a nice guy. You're going to the beach with him? And then the sound of footsteps pacing back and forth. In that bathing suit with a tiny bit of fabric? I think you're going to die. Say something. I replied. I was asleep. Turn around. Jake threw off the covers and twisted me upright. No sleeping. He was so close to me that his hands were on either side of my head. It was the first time we'd been that close since we stopped fighting when we were 10. Plus, he was topless. Suddenly we were both frozen. After a moment of silence, I spoke first. Why is your face so red? It wasn't just his face. His ears were red to the point of dripping blood. Jake rolled his throat and said, I'm angry with you. The red face was a rarely seen seriousness. Not half of the usual hangdog look. This close. I realized that this kid had somehow developed his body so well. Broad shoulders and narrow waist. Enveloped in me. Really cannot see the ceiling. A person who never could only look at hunky guys on the internet. Saw a live one for the first time. And it was still close at hand. With a sudden rush in my brain, I reached out my fingers and poked them lightly on his grooved abs. Immediately, his wrist was firmly clasped by him. His breath sinking slightly. His eyes darkening even more. Zoe. What are you doing? My grabbed hand, still touching his skin, burned like hell. I haven't touched live abs, I said as I ghosted another rub. Soft in the middle. It felt weirdly good. Jake let out a muffled grunt and the veins on the side of his neck bulged. He frowned like he was holding back something. Then suddenly let go of me. Picked up the covers and left. Hey! I called out to him. Where are you going? The man did not look back. Said. To sleep outside on the couch. I thought you said you couldn't stretch your legs. Don't worry about it. He made it sound as if I would be happy to take care of it. I scolded him. Come on. Who was the one who made me sleep and pressed me into bed? There was an unprecedented lack of dislike on the other end. And there was a moment of silence before Jake's voice came through with a bit of a muffled tone. No more noise now. I'm going to take a shower. Good night. We both slept poorly this night. I had a steamy dream all night. Pecs. Abs. Biceps. Eyeballing and touching all night. Jake seemed to have taken 2 cold showers in a row because of insomnia. Weirdo is weirdo. Who's a nice guy who can't sleep and takes cold showers? The next day, there were 2 of us. Topped off with 4 dark circles. Then I got shoved into Jake's car by my mom. Young people in the end energetic, huh? Driving more than 200 kilometers in the middle of the night to meet? Go back and take Ono's car. Talk to them. Don't get sleepy on the road. My mom smiled with a meaningful look on her face. At this moment, it seemed as if my real mom was a fake, and Jake seemed to be her real son. Putting me in a car with him. Of course I don't have to worry about who's going to get sleepy. I just have to worry about not getting pinched. Jake drove with a black face. You'd better not mess with me. I have more grievances than a ghost right now. So I ignored him. After a while, he spoke up again in a twisted voice and asked, "You're really going to the beach with that 4 eyes? Huh?" Jealousy was overflowing. I'd sked twice. It's a student government reunion. Okay? Last semester's calculus. I didn't fail it thanks to my senior helping me cram. And he paid for dinner when I bought it for him. Jake interrupted me. He tutored you? And you bought him dinner? I'm going to give him a gift to thank him. Don't you think it's a bit outdated to make cookies? I heard the sound of teeth clacking and asked, "What's that? Do you still want to make cookies? Is there a problem?" I looked around. Nothing unusual. Hey, do you hear any biting sounds? Jake laughed and sneered twice. Do it. You do that stuff. Can poison him. You make more. Try to send him to his death in one go. I went up to him with an ow. And Jake held the wheel steady. You want to die with me so bad? I was so pissed off I mumbled mantra. Forget it. People don't argue with dogs. When I met Jake in my life, I thought I was here to survive. On the day of the reunion, I brought my own baked bear cookies. Luna said, "Knowing is good. Just in case you have to find someone to make up for it this semester." So I clutched the not-so-pretty baked cookies and apprehensively made my way to the dining hall for dinner. I don't think the senior would mind the cookies being burnt. Right? I don't think so. He's very nice. It's not like a certain dog. A gust of wind swept by, and a tall black shadow suddenly stopped sharply in front of me. I froze. My brain hadn't turned a corner yet. And the paper bag of cookies in my hand had already been snatched away. Jake hadn't even caught his breath yet. And unwrapped it and shoved it into his mouth. What's wrong with you? I reached out and grabbed it. Jake grabbed the cookies and ran. I chased him and punched him while he ate them. After a few dozen punches and kicks, he returned the crumpled bag of cookies to me. With a bulging mouthful. That was close. Almost starved to death. I looked at the cookies in my hand, which were no longer at all giftable, and wanted to kill him. Are you a dog? Know what you just eat? With a mouthful of cookies that he could hardly swallow. Jake smiled with a smug look on his face. What do you care? I ate it. But the flavor is not bad. Next time for brother to make a big bag of it. I was so angry that I kicked him again. You're dreaming. What are you doing here? He raised an eyebrow. Come and eat the cookies. I simply threw all the cookies at him and walked away. Eat it. It's better if you choke on it. I managed to pick out a few cookies that looked good. And his dog ate them all. Jake followed my ass with a scowl on his face. Where are you going? Dinner? Take me with you. I'd like to meet some of your classmates. He's like the clingy pest. Once you're stuck, you can't get rid of him. I remember when I was in high school. A boy stopped me after school to confess his love. He was so nervous and shy that he stumbled through a paragraph. I was about to politely decline when Jake came out of nowhere. A hand over my shoulder, coldly dropped to her brother does not allow her to fall in love early. You do not want to. From then on, Jake waited for me after school. A look of life do not approach. Cut off all my romantic prospects. This plaster was applied until I went to college and finally got rid of him briefly for a while. Now this awful and familiar feeling is back. Tonight my senior asked me out for dinner alone. And I was thinking it would be a good time to send ugly cookies. This is great. The cookies are gone and there's a drag along with them. I'm sorry. Senior Jing. I just happened to run into the son of my mom's best friend. Jake pushed me to the side and sat down with a big grin against me. A good brother who is not related by blood, but grew up together. He also put an accent on good brother. I held my forehead. But Senior Jin calmly showed a smile. Cho's brother, is it? Hello. My name is Ethan. Saying that, he extended his hand and Jake took it in a handshake. Hello. Jake said that he has always been indebted to Senior for taking care of him. So today I, as the older brother, have come to say thank you. This meal is on me. Ethan just smiled and politely declined. Tonight itself is my date with Jo alone. How can there be a reason for you to pay the bill? The yin and yang flavor of their conversation reached me. The two men clasped hands. The heavier the grip. Even the bones are white. I hurriedly rounded up the situation. Then why don't we have an AA? Ethan. Listen to Mr. Jo. Jake. Listen to Xiaozhou. I was relieved to have reached a short-lived settlement. The meal was tense. Jake and Ethan were probably not on the same page. And I had nothing to do with what you said. We both to Senior trouble. She is clumsy. I do not watch for a moment will be easy to go wrong. Jake used the term Xiaozhou in every breath. And my hair stood on end at the sound of it. Usually when we get along, we call each other either weirdo or dog. Ethan, on the other hand, kept a nonchalant smile. Wherever. Cho-san is a little bit too polite. You are too polite. Brother. His gaze suddenly turned to me. His eyes filled with tenderness. Besides, it's only right to be nice to the girl you like. The chills doubled. I was in the middle of eating my food. But now I'm frozen in place. Ethan continued to speak without skipping a beat. It's a bit abrupt. But I was planning on confessing tonight as well. Since you're Jo's brother, I thought it would be nice to have you witness it. Jake gritted his teeth. I said I'm an unrelated brother. That's still just a brother. Right? Jake's face went green and white. And from my angle, I could see his bite muscles bulging. I was really afraid that he wouldn't be able to handle someone confessing to me and freak out on the spot. After all, it's still a bit brutal for him to be the mother of all confessions. Luckily Jake took a few deep breaths and pressed the fire down. Good. Since you want to chase boat, then drink me down first. Normally I don't drink. Jake lifted his chin diffidently and said. Scared? Ethan smiled gently. If brother-in-law wants to drink a little, I'll accompany him. I heard another sound of something crunching. Jake asked viciously. White or beer? Brother-in-law says so. Jake slapped the table. All right. The beer's just for gargling. White wine. Beer and foreign wine were all on the table. I sipped my strawberry milk and watched them perform. I've never seen Jake drink since I was a kid. And I thought he was a good drinker because of his cocky behavior. Who knew that Jake was already down before he was even halfway through his drink? Ethan, who was completely sober. And I looked at each other awkwardly and smiled. Senior Jing. I have to trouble you to book one more room. He's definitely not going to make it back when he's drunk like this. Ethan waved his hand. Don't be polite to me. It's just a favor. Jake slumped on the table. Drunk enough to turn off his cell phone. But his face was as foul as ever. I'm really sorry for today. He's always been a bit nervous. If there's anything he said just now that didn't sound right, don't mind. Ethan was only slightly inebriated. And an imperceptible blush appeared on his face. Is he your brother? I was stunned. Sort of. Do you think of him as your brother too? Senior. What are you asking? Ethan shook his head gently. I'm a little drunk. Zoe. I meant what I said just now. I just want a chance to play fair if I can. Ethan had always had a clean-cut look about him. Like right now. His eyes are soft like the moon. Quietly waiting for my answer. I always feel peaceful and comfortable with him. But if it's a lover, there's always something missing. I pursed my lips. Just about to open my mouth. The man beside me lying on the table suddenly arise. Oh, a voice. Where's the wine? Fill it up. No fish. After howling. His head tilted and fell directly on me. I threw him back on the table while saying to Ethan. Senior. Thank you for your love. But Jake held back. Whoever wants to be a brother-in-law will do it. What a cheap uncle. I won't do it. My sentence was interrupted by Jake. But as smart as Ethan was, he certainly knew what the second half of the sentence was going to be. He glanced at Jake and then back at me. The smile under his eyes was as gentle and warm as usual. It's okay. I'll respect whatever decision you make. Even if it's just friends. I'm happy. And then Jake threw up at an inopportune moment. If he hadn't actually thrown up 2 more times, I really would have suspected that Jake the dog was faking it. Good thing Ethan didn't bother with him and helped me carry the man back to the hotel with me. After sending the senior away, I wrung a towel and threw it directly at Jake's face. If you can't drink, don't drink. Now you're embarrassing me at school. The person on the bed curled up his body and seemed to grunt with some difficulty. I sighed and got down to business, scrubbing his face as if I were trying to rub off a layer of his skin. Jake's eyes were closed and his face was flushed. I don't know if it was from being drunk or from me rubbing him. I cursed as I rubbed. What's wrong with you? Don't you know how much you can drink? Besides, drinking is bad for you. You can't drink as much as you do. And you're still yelling at people. You're so drunk. You're clamoring for me to drink you down first. Now you're really drunk. I'm so tired of you. My wrist was suddenly clasped. I was startled. Jake had woken up at some time. Jake had woken up at some point. He was staring at me in a daze. His eyes unclear. I don't know how long there was silence in the stare. Jake softly said, "I'm sorry." I almost thought I heard wrong. I didn't expect him to repeat. "I'm sorry for embarrassing you." It was hard for me to get used to the fact that he was suddenly speaking human. "Are you okay? Did you drink your brains out?" Jake didn't say anything, but his eyes turned red. I'd never seen anything like it. 3 out of the 5 words this man usually said to me were in dislike of each other. The sudden need to drop the little pearl made me embarrassed to continue scolding. I tried to comfort 2 sentences. That drinking didn't drink others. There is no need to cry. Although it is a little bit embarrassing. But only a little bit. Next time, don't be so self-indulgent. Jake ignored my consolation. He just looked at me. And there seemed to be black darkness rolling in his eyes. "That senior of yours likes you." "Yeah. He's nice to you." "Yeah. He seems nice too." "Uh-huh." Jake's throat rolled and his eyes darkened. "I like you. Too." "Uh-huh." First thought was that the dog was trying to trick me again. I tried to pick out signs of teasing me on his face. But all I could see was Jake's eyes getting redder. Obviously I was earlier. "So it's too late now, is it? You like that senior and he likes you." The words seemed to catch in my throat as Jake took a hold of my shoulders and I could feel the trembling of his fingertips. "Can you not like him?" My ears ring. A sharp, thin, metallic sound resonates in my ears. All I could feel was my violent, rapid heartbeat, shaking inside my chest. It was as if something was festering in my heart, on the verge of filling the whole thing up. Jake's gaze was so hot that my face was baking. I paused for half a second. But when I spoke, it looks like your tears are about to fall. And then Jake locked himself in the bathroom. Hurt your pride? For a while I didn't know whether to leave or stay. In this situation, should I comfort a few words? For example, men can cry too. For example, it's great that you're like this. When I thought about it, I simply called my best friend Luna. She was the one who said that all the signs of Jake going against me were because he liked me. She also told me that I'd been flooded with romantic prospects lately. And that Jake would confess to me in the next 2 days. At the time I looked at her like she was stupid. And now I suspect Luna is a bit of a pinchmeister. As soon as I told her the whole story, the person on the other end of the phone burst into shrill explosions of laughter that shook the ground. It turns out that Jake knew the address of my reunion. And it was Luna, the traitor, who told him. "I told you. He's so anxious to see you. Isn't he?" He even cried? Oh my God. Men's tears. Women's stimulants. I can't imagine a 6'9" wild man dropping his little pearls in front of me. TSK. 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 Zoe. You're eating well. Luna was getting more and more exuberant as I hurried to interrupt. Think of something. Now that he's locked himself in the bathroom. He's not secretly crying. Is he? Okay. Okay. Seriously. Luna cleared her throat. Go knock on the door. Knock? And then what? What did I say? I'm digging my toes into the ground. I'm digging up a mansion. And then ask him if he wants to come out and cry in your arms. Ha 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 ha. Luna's explosive laughter almost shattered my eardrums. The most unreliable person in the world is indeed a best friend. Just when my dirty words were about to come out, the toilet door clicked. Opened. I scrambled to snuff the phone. Jake walked out slowly. His face and head were wet. His t-shirt collar was soaked with water. And his frontal hair was dripping downward. I carefully opened my mouth and asked. Are you okay? I'm not okay. He took a step forward and forced me into a corner. I wanted to escape from the side. He propped up his hand and cut off my back. A perfect wallop. I was trapped. Whether you and that senior are in love or not, I'd decided to say it. You. Listen to me first. You're too close to me. It's hot. Jake was too taller than me. And when he leaned down, the oppressive feeling made me keep trying to escape. But there was only the wall behind me. The distance was too close. And a burst of heat from his body made me feel like I was going to burn too. Just stay like this. I'm afraid you'll run if you're far away. His eyes lowered and he gazed deeply into me. Zoe. I like you. It's not a whim or a temporary thing. I've liked you since the first time I pulled your braid. I muttered softly. Who's a nice person likes someone else and pulls their pigtails off? It's not a joking kind of like. It's like so much that you're in my dreams every night. My eyes narrowed and I muttered again. Huh. Your brain is not full of yellow waste. Is it? Jake finally relented and he surged closer. I'll kiss you if you keep interrupting. I covered my mouth. How dare you? What's the big deal? You'll have to kill me after that. You're going to fall in love with that two-faced senior anyway. He's not a green tea. And who said I'm going to fall in love with him? No? His eyes suddenly lit up. You're not going to talk to him. Are you? Just now. He looked so depressed even when he confessed. But now he seemed to have been brightened up. I bristled. Just because I'm not going to talk to him doesn't mean I'm going to talk to you. Jake's lips curved up in a shallow arc and he raised his eyebrows in a loose manner. Returning to his usual nasty demeanor. He leaned over and murmured in my ear. Do you want to try it with me? Try what? I looked at him warily. Don't you watch Hunky Guy every day? You know how long I've been practicing for beefcake and six-pack abs? I remembered the time when Jake used to be so buff and tall that I called him a skinny bamboo pole every day. And I couldn't remember when he got so fit. Thinking back to that day when he was topless. He did look very top-notch. I couldn't help but gulp. How? How did you know I look at Hunky Guy? Is that the point? What else? Jake lifted the hem of his shirt and nibbled on it. His stance slow and he stared at me with a smirk on his face. Let's see what we've got. Then he took my hand and pressed it heavily against my abs. There was a loud boom in my brain. And my little sanity was blown to smithereens. My hand was honest. And I gave it a squeeze on my hot abs of my own accord. Zoe. I looked up dully. My eyes colliding with his. Before I could react, my lips were already being kissed. Jake was only gently pressed against me. I could even feel his apprehension. Even his eyelashes fluttered gently. What seemed like a dominating and forceful kiss. I could actually push away easily. I don't know why. But my heart was so soft that it sunk into a piece. With a hot brain, I hooked my arm around his neck and deepened the kiss. The overwhelmingly crisp, minty flavor sweeps me away. And Jake senses my response. Finally ceasing to be shallow. His lips and tongue were plundered. And his force felt like it was laced with aggression. I was so kissed that I went limp and had trouble breathing. Reaching out to push him. Only to have the back of my neck clasped harder. Jake held me against the wall like a hungry tiger refusing to let go of me. And I ended up being bitten hard. You have to die. I couldn't catch my breath and desperately tried to get some fresh air. Seeing as he wasn't much better. Both of them were as good as if they had sprinted through 100 meters. He asked me, "Do you have feelings?" My face burned. My eyes fluttered. And I said, "What? What feeling? Where do you think you are?" Jake wrapped me in his arms. "I'm asking if you have a heartbeat. Listen to it, my heart is beating so fast it's going to explode." I pressed against his chest. My heartbeat vibrating in my ears like a drum. It's really fast. Like a dense drumbeat. I suddenly realized what that missing bit of feeling was for Ethan. Because my heart was beating as fast as Jake's at the moment. Then I fled to my room. Because Jake had a nosebleed. I was afraid if I stayed any longer, he was going to blow himself up. Lying in bed tossing and turning, I rolled back and forth clutching the covers. Tonight had been too much of a trance. And my heart was still beating wildly like it was out of order. And I couldn't calm down at all. I tried to remember any hints that Jake liked me. Did he tear up the love letters because he liked them? What about putting my head under his jacket on a rainy day? Was throwing my meal card at me and telling me I was skinny as a rib a favorite? Then remember my birthday every year. Cursing but carefully wrapped gifts. Is also like? There are too many twisted and screwed up moments that I used to think were just inherently repulsive to each other. But now I'm glimpsing his carefully hidden teenage heart in this one little thing after another. At 3 o'clock, Jake messaged me, saying he'd taken 3 cold showers, brushed up on 5 ghost stories, and was now frighteningly calm. I asked him what he really wanted. He said he wanted to. Then I told him to fuck off. At 4 o'clock, Jake sent a dozen cute dog emojis in a row to try to rouse my pity. I sent back a picture of owner received. At 5 o'clock, 2 people who had been losing sleep all night finally came to an understanding and went to the beach to wait for the sunrise on a hungry stomach. I sat side by side with him. The sky was just showing a little bit of fish belly white. The sea breeze brushed against my face, blowing away all the tiredness. Jake suddenly pressed my head on his shoulder and said, "Brother's shoulder for you to lean on." I snorted and laughed out. "Jake, do you have to be so corny? Isn't it always like this in movies? When watching the sunrise, the female lead has to lean on the male lead's shoulder." I was speechless for a while. And suddenly thought of a doubt that had been lingering in my mind. Hey, why didn't you smell of alcohol last night? I clearly remembered that he was so drunk that he threw up several times. But that kiss. It all tasted like peppermint. Jake looked out at the horizon and smiled willfully. Because I brushed my teeth. And you brushed your teeth? I looked incredulous. Well, I brushed them when I was hiding in the bathroom. He was proud of himself. He was proud of himself. I don't fight unprepared. You've been thinking about kissing me for a long time. Haven't you? Dog? Come on. I've been thinking about it for over 10 years. The sunset was completely colored with golden light. And the sun jumped out of the floating clouds, splashing the entire sea with a heavy golden color. Wow. It's sunrise. I cheered, going to tap Jake on the shoulder. Only to see him looking at me blankly. Why are you looking at me? Watch the sunrise. Jake just looked at me. His eyes lit up by the sunrise, with only my reflection in them. This is the time in the movie when the hero and heroine should be kissing. When he inclined his head and kissed me, I could smell the fresh mint scent again. This time the kiss was loving and long. Breaths tangled together. And I heard Jake's low voice. Good morning, girlfriend. It was a bit of a leap from archenemy to boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm still in the habit of calling him dog. After all, that's what I'd been giving him as a note for all these years. Jake refused to do so. And he was always whining in front of me, insisting that I change his name. I'm used to it. Dogs are so cute. Don't you like dogs? No. It's not intimate. Look. I've given you the name baby. I didn't ask you to change it. Who said that only dogs like me? Woof. After Cheen's efforts, The note evolved smoothly from dog to dog baby. He was quite satisfied. The person in question said that he would remove the prefix one day. When we didn't deal with each other in the past. I thought Jake was high and low in the wild dog department. Now, after the sudden change of relationship, I realized that his real face seems to be a milk dog. He's a little too clingy for his own good. So when he suddenly appeared downstairs in my dorm room after I started school, I was not surprised at all. It was only the second day of school. Though. What are you doing here? I looked at my older brother, who had already graduated 2 years ago. He was wearing a white t-shirt and black sweatpants. His hair was scrunched. And he had even changed the strap of his watch to a sporty one. It was obvious that he had gone to great lengths to create a sense of effortlessness. Today this brother's persona may be that of an innocent male university. He came up to me and said, "I miss my girlfriend. Can't I come?" People were coming and going downstairs in the dormitory. So I hurriedly pushed him away and said, "You're just in time. Help me carry the water. Today is a friendly basketball match between the student council and freshmen. And I am in charge of the logistics." Jake came uninvited. Just in time to serve as free labor for me. It wasn't until he was on the court as our student council side's foreign aide that I noticed the shoes he was wearing. Only then did I notice that the shoes he was wearing were basketball shoes. This guy came prepared? He even gave Ethan a high five when he came on the court. After he threw down 2 or 3 foul shots in a row. I was convinced that he was here to show OFF. There weren't many people watching this friendly game. And as Jake and Ethan played together more and more, the cheers began to rise and fall. I had 2 cases of mineral water. And in no time at all, I was surrounded by girls watching the game. Jake raised his eyebrows at me once when he scored a goal, which led to a lot of screaming. Not to mention the way he purposely lifted up his t-shirt to wipe off his sweat, revealing his abs. Behind me, the girls are chattering away. Too handsome. Who is this? Which department's senior? He keeps looking over here. Is he the boyfriend of one of the girls here? I shrunk my neck and tried to hide myself in the crowd. A friendly game was played with the intensity of a varsity game. Jake had a great bounce and grabbed countless rebounds. Ethan had a solid 3-point shot and was an excellent defender. By the end of the game, the freshman underclassmen were losing their tempers and the score was pulling out big dozens. At the end of the game, several girls immediately surrounded Jake and Ethan to bring them water. Jake pointed to my side and walked straight over. "Where's the water? Girlfriend?" He reached out towards me and the eyes of everyone else around him fell on me in unison. I was so embarrassed I wanted to die. I pulled out 2 bottles of water and shoved them at him. But I didn't realize Jake wouldn't take them. And bent down to pick up the one I drank. And tilted his neck to drink it all. There was another round of booze around me. My heart was hanging in the air. Finally dead. Ethan walked past us with a bunch of water in his arms. Pausing in his steps. "Brother-in-law is a good basketball player. Let's do it again next time." "What brother-in-law? I told you I'm Zoe's real boyfriend now. Now. But I don't know about later." Ethan arched his eyebrows and smiled slightly at me. "Zoe. I'm leaving now. Bye." I waved my hand and hurriedly held back Jake, who was about to explode. He looked at me accusingly. Look at him. Baby. 4-eyed green tea. The crowd that hadn't dispersed yet all glanced at me. And I grabbed Jake and hurriedly ran away. It turns out that after we fell in love, this careful person, the first time to tell Ethan, the senior was polite and gentle, as always, and just said quietly, "I'm not the only one in the school who likes Joe." And Jake exploded in anger. Then Jake blew up in his place. And Ethan got a free ride for the student council. As we walked around campus, Jake moped and clasped my hand tightly. I asked him, "What the hell are you showing off and driving to my school for? You don't trust me?" "It's called territorial instinct. What do you know?" I stifled a laugh and said, "You're really a dog. Aren't you? A dog is a dog. A dog with a wife is not a disgrace. If you are shameless, you are invincible." He had one. Nothing I could say would hurt him now. Jake was holding me, gently rubbing my fingers. And suddenly there was a chill. I raised my hand to see a 6-pronged diamond ring on my ring finger. My heart skipped a beat. What's this? Jake put his hand in his pocket and smiled openly. I have a little money. I made a move to take it off. And he got down on one knee. Zoe. It's your 21st birthday in 5 days. It's the 21st year we've known each other. And I can't count the years I've loved you. From now on, you're the only one who can bully me. I won't fight back. I won't yell back. I'll only be good to you. I'll do everything I promise you. And I'll mean every word I say to you. When you are happy, I will accompany you to be happy. When you are unhappy, I will coax you to be happy. I will always think that Zoe is the most beautiful. In my dreams and in my heart. Please be my lawful wedded wife someday in the future. No matter how long it takes. I can wait. This is a line from my favorite movie, The Lion's Roar, which I've watched dozens of times. And I know this line by heart. In the glow of the setting sun, my favorite boy got down on one knee and confessed with the line from my favorite movie. I should have been moved to tears. If only there hadn't been a growing crowd of onlookers and photo-taking classmates. I yanked Jake up, broke through the crowd, and ran as fast as I could. Do you mean yes? I'll have to kneel again if you don't. Promise, promise, promise. I heard Jake's low laugh of triumph. He was a dog as usual. But luckily there's a long way to go. And we'll settle the score later.